Welcome to TradeTheNBI.com. This report is for, well, a special day for me, December 14th. It's actually my birthday, and we're doing this as the market is live, and that's because my cracked tooth, I need to go to the dentist, and I don't know what condition I will be after I get back from the appointment. So we're going to have to just go ahead and take the market as it is, which is retracing significantly. No, we kind of were looking for it right about into these levels. After having been the green, we saw that we were a little bit overbought. We had our first dip down, and this little punch down was fairly in line with what we were expecting, and positive move from our expander ratio histogram on this pop-up. So that's kind of what we were looking for from the setup. So from that standpoint, no real objections to what's going on. We had our line drawing that we did the other day, and again, went back below the support, went back above it, below it, then we went below this one, and somewhere in between. So we're going to be right down on here or there. There's a little over, well, right around an hour left in the market time. So I won't know how that one plays out. And you can see we didn't quite get to the top of the band, but we're headed back where somewhere in the middle of no man's land. And just fewer buyers on that setup, and not really much of an increase unless the shorts flip to the red side and we go positive on the red side, but not seeing that as yet. Getting close to the 1409 projection, and we saw this drop off in our price oscillator, making our lower peak, and we flattened out a momentum. So none of that was a real shock in any way. And I talked about how MACD guys, even though they weren't seeing it, should be thinking about it. And they're about to get their crossover. That'll be interesting, because that will become a really good buy opportunity when they get their sell signal, because the big players will suck up those extra shares. Now, we've been talking about these. Every time we dip below the red line, we look for the retrace of those lows. And, this was the last one over here. We were expecting somewhere around the 60, and we wanted to get paid some premium. If we go to the website, I kind of marked where that is, and you'll notice that from the website you'll always see this little malware free thing, and that's because they check it every day. But and this is why we haven't made some of the changes that we were doing, because they had been making sure that everything was perfect. But I started to be able to do those just the other day. You'll notice now when you just go straight to Trade the NBI, I don't need that main page that they wanted for testing and everything, so I finally was able to get rid of that. From an SSO standpoint, the 60 puts at 55 cents, reasonable for getting in at that particular spot, so fine, which effectively gives us a 55, 45, 59, 45 entry for that setup, so that's fine. No objections to that whatsoever. The futures was a little bit more complex, because I should have mentioned it. We had the ESH coming in there soon, and being in swing trade, I wanted not to have to switch over contracts when it changes out. So I went ahead and made the trade in that there's a differential between the ESH and the EZ as far as where it came out. You know what? Actually, I didn't look that trade live right now. Slide this over. This is where it's at. So it's upside down as it is there, on small position, 25 contracts. So nothing too major, but we'll see how that plays out overall. And right in line with retesting. We knew we were looking for at least this one, and that they cleared out both of them. And some people say, oh, it's that, and supports right off that. Is that a support and resistance? Yeah, actually, these dips below the red line, I see those more in relation to a support and resistance than what most people will draw as their lines. Still, it can trade both sides of it, so I don't call them support resistance lines, other than to note that we know that we've got an extreme and usually in an oversold kind of setup. GLD made a little bit of a retrace after that nice little pop-up to hit the extreme fractal targets. It just amazes me sometimes, and it shouldn't, because that was the whole point. They'll hit these targets and it just reverses right after hitting them, and it's like no compunction whatsoever. They take their money and they run. USO, little retrace off the red trend, looking for that discount again. We talk about it. No coincidence with that. CLF stayed positive, but that gray dot should start to have some impact on it to retrace down there, and no problem with that. In line with what we want for that, so no objections. I detailed the ABM, and for those of you that go to either YouTube, I put it on, and I'll have to give the URL to point out. In fact, I think I probably have it already in here. Yeah, this is the takes you straight to the URL that plays the video. I will put that in my email that I've sent out, so you'll have already seen it. But it's just nice. Everyone who has the indicators got this, and so now they can use the ABM for points like this where it closes below, and you know at that point, okay, I need to be thinking about having my stop either at the red line or magenta, or just being out completely and waiting for resolution on that setup. Effective for trend following. X, I think special, all in line, WLT. It's all doing pretty much. Now this is showing the ES 13, but I did do a fun thing. Someone had asked me about this. Placing the dots and indicators on a chart of an option chain. Normally we look at this stock and then we make our calls based on the stock. I never even bothered to actually put it on a stock chart. So this happens to be the 60 call for SSO, and for the full month of December. So kind of interesting. I haven't even gone back through any of them. It might be interesting to look at some of the longer calls that the 3-month, 6-month time periods, and see if there's any value. But I mean, clearly you can see with the SSO cut overbought right there, just after having turned green trend, retraced from there. Did reach the orange dot fractal buy setup right here. So hit some of those targets. That's kind of interesting. I might have to take a little bit more in-depth look at that, and if you've got the indicators, by all means you can do the same thing. Take a look at it. So if I'm able to do any additional update after the market, if my mouth is not too swollen or something, I will definitely do that. But otherwise, I will try and put up the details once the market's closed for at least the stock closing prices and that. But for now, this will have to suffice as a short one. As always, though, do you look for me? StockTwits, Twitter. I'll probably be out for most of my birthday. I got quite a few different plans, but as always, though, trade well.